set. Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials, grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Gooder, Green,
Here.
LaFour,
Here.
Mastrovich,
Here.
Ricks,
Here.
Schultz,
Yep.
Yarrick.
Here.
Motion to excuse Counselor Jeff from tonight's meeting due to family, what?
Medical issues or being out of town.
Yeah, for being out of town. This is
Okay.
All right. That sound good?
Yep.
Support. Motion made, supported. Any discussion on that? We hope everything turns out good with this better half. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Approval of minutes for the regular meeting of May 20th would be in order.
So moved.
Support. Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion on the motion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to audience comments on any non-agenda items. If anybody would like to address the city council, we simply ask you to come to the podium, state your name and address for the record if you're not on the agenda. Looks like everybody's here that wants to be here tonight. We will move on. Adoption of agenda. Mr. City Manager, any changes?
No changes.
City Council, any changes? Being none, a motion to accept the agenda as presented would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
Supported. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There's no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to public hearing, which we have one tonight. It's the 2013-14 city budget. We will note the time at 7:03 that the hearing was opened. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to hold a public hearing to receive comments on the proposed 2013-2014 budget. The total city budget is $8.1 million, including a $3.6 million general fund budget. The City Council held 4 budget workshops in April and May to review the budget, and proposed budget reflects the modifications made during those workshops. The budget calls for a tax levy of 16.6526 mils for general operating purposes. This also includes a set-aside from the Tiffin General Fund in an amount equal to 2 mils for the street improvement program. Currently, the city does not levy any mills for debt. Budget does include a 2% increase for water rates, and the city will levy a 1% administration fee on all tax collection and a flat fee of $182 annually for residential garbage collection.
Very good. We will open that up to anybody on the floor that would like to address the budget. Any questions, comments? Okay, we will bring it back. Is there any comments by the council at this point? Then a motion to close the public hearing would be in order.
Make a motion to close the public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2013-2014 budget.
Support.
At 7:05.
7:05.
I'll support that.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to our items for consideration, which we have 7 this evening. The first one being the consideration of adopting the resolution 2013-5, which is the adoption of the fiscal year 2013-14 city budget. Mr. City Manager.
The council is scheduled to adopt Resolution 2013-5, which adopts the fiscal year 2013-14 budget for the city of Richmond. I just kind of outlined during the public hearing the main points of this current budget, and I'll just kind of state that both administration and council went over this budget at length during the 4 budget workshops, I think 3 in April and 1 in May, that were all open to the public, and the budget document was also available for public review in the clerk's office for the last couple of weeks.
Very good. Is there a motion before discussion?
Move to adopt resolution number 2013-5, which adopts the City of Richmond fiscal year 2013-14 budget, appropriates necessary sums for each fund of the city, adopts the 2013 to 2018 capital outlay program, directs the levy of taxes and fees for municipal purposes, and directs the preparation of the tax roll and collection of taxes.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Discussion. As the city manager stated, it was a long, hard journey. Things are, as everybody knows, if you watch TV, read the paper, or anything else, you know how tough times are for everybody, and that includes your city. And hats off to the administration again, especially John and Marilyn, who's here tonight, our treasurer, helping us find our way as councilmen to get where we had to get to balance the budget as best we possibly could, given all the issues, which are many, that are affecting the city of Richmond, that some things that are completely out of our control, that we had no control over, that came from higher places. And I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish this year, and what we've been able to accomplish in previous years, and what we think we might be able to accomplish in years to come. We're conservative. We watch what we're doing. Sadly, there are things that have been cut to keep us afloat, but it's been the mentality of this council for a number of years to spend only what we have and not go beyond that, and hopefully be able to put some away for those rainy days that we have, and some of those projects that we want to see happen in the city of Richmond. I think we've done that. We've got a good fund balance. Hopefully we hear from our auditors that, again, that we have a very healthy fund balance for the times. But again, sadly, there were some cuts, and that was going to happen regardless of what we have done. Again, I think there was a lot of outside sources that caused a lot of our problems here in the city of Richmond, which is causing a lot of problems in other communities also. The state, the feds. That is too bad. We see more and more of that happening, it seems like, where they are directing us to do certain things and not subsidizing some of the things that they tell us that we have to do any longer. So it makes it tough. But I think overall we've kept the city of Richmond together, and that we can be very thankful that we have a great administration, again, that keeps us abreast of everything that's going on all year long, not just during these budget meetings. And we had 4, as John said, but we actually had the first one, which was 5, and that was when you wanted direction. Where do we go? You know, give us direction. What does City Council want to see? And I think we gave good, strong, clear direction with your help to tell us where we need to go. And I think that first meeting really set things up for us, and we went from there. So I'm again very proud of what all the input from your department directors and the cuts that they made to continue to keep the programs going here, but maybe not as many hours. The building might not be open as many hours, or and the cut of personnel that's happened. Again, that's a very sad thing to happen, but we're being forced into doing those type of things. It's too bad. It's too bad for those individuals, and it's too bad for the city of Richmond, because I think we were running on a very thin line anyhow with our administration. I don't think there's anybody sitting at this table that wouldn't agree to that. You guys do a lot with little, and we're going to have to do even more with even less this fiscal year. Hopefully it turns around. It looks like there's some good signs for us. What did you say, John? We had our first building permit in 6 years?
Yes, over 6 years.
So, building permit for a
For a new home.
Yeah, for a home. We've luckily had some commercial growth. But, the signs are there. They're coming back. And, so, with everybody pulling in the same direction, I think we got a pretty good budget here. Other comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to say that, just give some facts, that based on the initial request made by the departments, we would have been $325,492 in a deficit. But with the hard work of the administration, particularly our city manager and our treasurer, John and Marilyn, and then with the collaboration and compromise that we have all made, that we are going to come out, though we still have $56,103 left, but we are able to use that rainy day fund for this situation, our general fund, that we're able to still balance it and have a lot left over. I'm very proud of this budget. I don't know where else we could have possibly cut, because we made incredible sacrifices, that we are still able to provide essential city services and other services with what we have. So I am very proud of all of us. I thank you all for your commitment to this budget. So I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Anybody else?
Yeah. And kind of go with that, I appreciate the staff and council work together through this difficult time. But I'll tell you, I am angry, deeply angry, because in 1994, the state legislature made local government reliant on property taxes. And when property values went down, obviously we had to cut for that. But then, and we did it. And we, early on in 2000, when property values going, we cut, and we were very conservative. But then the state decided to continue to balance their budget on our backs. And even our auditors last year put in our audit document that the state was cutting revenue sharing, gone to EVIP to balance their budget by taking it out of what local government was getting, instead of making cuts in their own house. And it makes me truly angry, because this year, despite everything we did, and one of my first commitments I made in the last 14 years is not to lay off employees. I see the effects it has when you lay off someone, especially when they were doing a good job. But we're just at that point that we have no other choice but to lay off someone. And it's by no fault of local government. And when we have legislators out there saying, well, the problem is local government spends $11 when they only get $9. Well, the reason we only get $9, we were spending $11, is because they cut it out. And just some of those numbers are, since 2001, our revenue sharing's been cut $188,000. We lost $200,000 per year due to the state police closing, which was supposed to be a shared commitment between us and the state, which is exactly what they want us to do now, is do shared relationships. And when you only have a $3.7 million general fund, I think our state legislature has lost touch with what's occurring at the local level. Because I had, in my meetings a few weeks ago in Lansing, I brought up an opportunity for revenue for local government, and for us it was only $27,000. Or they said, well, what's $27,000 going to get you? I said, we have a $3.7 million budget. $27,000 is a lot of money for us, especially when I have to tell somebody that this year they're going to get a pink slip. That means something to us. And for our legislators that have a multi-million-dollar budget, they don't appreciate what's happening at our level. And it's truly disappointing. It's frustrating. They came up with a $400 million excess in their budget this year, and local government is only being returned 4.8%. And it was interesting. They call it an increase. Oh, we're increasing it. No. When you cut us $188,000 and you give us some money back, that's not an increase. You're not doing us a favor. You're giving us back what was originally promised when property taxes were kept. So I'd say it's very disappointing that I feel in clear conscience we've done everything we can over the years to try to continue to cut, maintain services, but the state cannot continue to balance their budget and not clean their house and make local government have to pick that up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other comments?
Yes, I have a comment. Just want to accommodate our directors that had been dealt with, we have to cut our budget, and that they came back with alternatives that we thought were acceptable. specifically in the Parks and Rec and Library, and then also in the Police Department, to adjust to those cuts and then make different recommendations so that we could come back and still provide great service to the community in that regard. So hats off to them for figuring out ways to provide the same amount of service, close to the same amount, but without greatly reducing, with the same budget.
Okay. Anything else? Any audience participation on this item? One of our, I guess we can't really call him our director, but Jeff White is here. And Jeff White, how many years now have we asked you to cut back on your budget and you've been able to come back and cut for us?
I think it might be 3 years.
3 years now? Yeah. And those are the type of
Yeah.
commitments that it takes, for us to continue to, have an outstanding service, as we will see later in the budget. But,
And actually, knowing that Jeff had made those cuts, I didn't ask him for that cut this year. He did it of his own accord.
yeah. So those are the types of things that help keep our community going, and we can continue to offer quality services to their citizens. Okay, back to the table. Is there anything else? Then we need to act on the motion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 2, consideration of approving the TIFA tax-based sharing agreement. Mr. City Manager?
City Council is scheduled to consider entering into a tax base sharing agreement with the City of Richmond Tax Increment Finance Authority. Under the proposed agreement entered into by both the TIFA and City of Richmond, a portion of the captured assessed value can be shared by the TIFA with the city. As we have discussed, administration contacted Miller Canfield to receive a legal opinion on the sharing of a portion of the TIFA capture with the city's general fund. The attached agreement proposes sharing 40% of the TIFA capture in the current fiscal year and sharing 34% of the capture in the upcoming budget that we just approved, which is the 13-14 budget. By doing this sharing agreement, the city's general fund would receive roughly $186,308 this year and $153,711 next year. The TIFA board, I did present this to them in May because of the current budget. Maryland will need to do some of this work this month. So rather than wait till the end of June when TIFA meets, I presented it to the TIFA board at their May meeting where it was approved.
Very good. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the captured assessed value sharing agreement between the City of Richmond, TIFA, and the City of Richmond, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Any audience participation on this item? Back to the table. Council has talked on this at great lengths with the administration. And I believe it's definitely the right thing to do for these times. Any other comments? If not, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 3 is consideration of approving fiscal year 2013-14 city fee schedule. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider adopting the 2013-14 city fee schedule. The changes were presented to you by each department director when they presented their budget. There are changes in the building department fees, police department, and water department. And I've included in your packet a list of the fees with the changes in red. There are also some minor language changes too, that we no longer use Polaroid film. Probably should have changed it a few years ago. Now it's gone digital.
Yeah. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the City of Richmond fiscal year 2013-2014 fee schedule as presented by the city manager.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Your brief, I believe, told us that some of those fees that went up, mostly inspection fees.
Yes.
A lot of those went up pretty much across the board, about $15. Is that?
Based on the
assuming-
state.
Okay,
We look at other communities, but also look at what kind of the state has a fee schedule as well.
okay.
And so that's to keep us in line with everyone else. Otherwise, sometimes our inspectors get a little upset that, because they get paid based on the
Yeah.
fees.
Yeah, yeah, and we want to keep our inspectors.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Any other comments? Any audience participation on this item? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 4 is consideration of request to conduct the annual sidewalk sales, Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider approving the request received from the Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce to conduct the annual sidewalk sales. This year, the sidewalk sales are scheduled for Thursday, July 25th through Saturday, July 27th. In the past couple of years, the Chamber had reduced its efforts in this event, and there was a business group that continued them last year. However, this year, Jill Albin, working with the Chamber and the businesses, wants to bring it back bigger and better than ever. One of those changes that they're also looking at doing is allowing some businesses that may not have Main Street frontage to be able to put kind of tents up at the municipal parking lot on, is that Friday in the municipal parking lot, and then Saturday down at the Kmart parking lot. I know the background brief kind of talks about a specific size of a tent. I think Jill's going to talk tonight that's more like the Treats in the Street, where it may be individual tents based on the property owners. But Jill is here if you have any questions.
Very good. Jill, go ahead.
Well, we would like to bring that back from July 25th through July 27th. It's open to anybody in the city, and I've been walking the streets with the flyers. Friday night, we're going to try and do, I get Parks and Rec involved. We're going to try and do games and activities for kids. Try to have entertainment, but more importantly, try to have a place for businesses that are not on Main Street itself. And we're trying to do that on between 4 and 8 on Friday night in the municipal parking lot. And then I've already got permission from Mr. Kane down at Kmart, their plaza, and do that from 10 to 2 on Saturday down at that end. I've been inviting the businesses to participate in this, not saying that you have to have a sale, but to try to do something within your store to promote people to come in, whether it's a raffle or something like that to bring people into your store and see what you have to offer. And so far it's been very well received with the people I've talked to. The only thing I did not include in that, and I thought about it afterwards because I was trying to think of everything, is that there may be a few small signs that might pop up, but I promise it will be tastefully done, and they'll come down right afterwards. But so we'd like your support, in that effort. It's going to be on a similar format that we had in 2009, and trying to kind of promote it as a carnival of sales so that people don't get hung up with the sidewalk sale aspect of it.
Okay. Sounds good. Any questions of the executive director? Thank you, Jill.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the request received from the Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce to conduct the annual sidewalk sales with the placement of a tent within the municipal parking lot and allow community yard sales from July 25th through July 27th, 2013.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Any discussion?
Wish them success.
Good weather. Carnival sales, what struck me was helium balloons tied to the downtown post lights, whatever, to create an atmosphere, create some excitement.
Yes, we're going to do that.
Good. And I bet you want that good old days sign, too. I read that in your minutes or somewhere.
In the letter.
In the newsletter?
No.
Something about a lighted sign?
Yeah.
I don't know who that could be.
When was this all redone?
Yeah, it's all been totally redone. It's on a wagon now, or a trailer. We had it all redone just for the Chamber of Commerce. So.
Excuse me.
And the Rotary and the... Anyhow. Okay, any other discussion? Any audience participation on this item? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 5 is consideration of approving fiscal year 2013-14 EMS and community transit contracts. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider approving the fiscal year 2013-14 emergency medical services and community transit service contracts with Richmond Lennox EMS. Both contracts provide for the same language provisions as previous years with no changes other than the dollar amounts.
Thank you, sir. Jeffrey?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, let me just begin by saying what a pleasure it is to work with administration and council each year during the budget process. It really is amazing what a community can accomplish when everybody is working together, towards the common good of our citizens. The other thing I'll point out that I have reduced over the last couple of years, besides the cost of the EMS agreement, is the time that I speak at the microphone.
We weren't going to say anything, Jeff.
So I just thought I'd briefly give you a summary on the transit side and the EMS side of things, just to let council know what kind of numbers, if you will, they're paying for, or the community's money is going towards. I looked just before I came over tonight, and in the past 10 months, the community transit side of the operation, the little smart buses that you see in the community, have provided 2,695 rides for City of Richmond residents. That's out of about 20,000 rides throughout the entire EMS system. For the purpose of the audience that might be here tonight or might be listening, the hours of operation for the little smart shuttle vehicles are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays. The phone number to schedule a ride is 586-749-7713. I'll just close by pointing out that on the EMS side of the operation, in the past 10 months of the fiscal year, again, the EMS has responded to 562 emergency calls in the City of Richmond with an average response time of less than 4 minutes. Total responses for the EMS system during that same period were about 2,500. With that, unless there are any questions, I don't have anything else to report.
Any questions at this point?
I have a question in regards to scheduling a ride. Is there a certain qualification that an individual needs?
Absolutely not. Certainly, when we began all this, our focus was on seniors, disabled persons, and persons needing medical treatment that might not otherwise have other ways to get to that treatment. Having said that, the smart funds, public transportation dollars from the state pay for that service, and so we can't, if you will, discriminate against somebody because they're otherwise healthy and don't have, and aren't a senior. I will tell you more and more. We have people actually using the vehicles as their mode of transportation to and from work. Maybe somebody who was had a great job, but is now, if you will, underemployed. I think is the common term, where it's expensive for them to operate their own car between insurance, vehicle cost, maintenance, and fuel. Are calling and actually being taken to work. And actually one of the grants that we received that allowed us to expand our operation quite a bit was called the Job Access Reverse Commute. And I know that's a mouthful. We call it JARC. But that money was set aside for the purpose of doing just that, of getting people to and from the workplace.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the 2013-14 contract for emergency medical services with Richmond Lennox EMS in the amount of $25,000 and authorize the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
Second?
Jimmy, that was 25,200.
200, I'm sorry, the
Yep.
glasses.
I know, I was going to hand you mine, but,
Would you?
yeah. Mike, you second that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Any audience participation on this item? Any questions from Jeffrey? Okay, back to the table. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have another motion that's needed for the community transit service.
Move to approve the 2013-2014 contract for community transit services with Richmond Lennox EMS in the amount of the city's municipal and community credit that they receive from SMART, and authorize the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
Support. Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion?
Yes. I just want to mention, I really appreciate the program. I think there's been a great use of these SMART credits to have this service available. Just kind of informing, Brandon, I've talked to Jeff about this, but informing the council, that with this recent regional area transit effort that's occurring where DDOT and SMART are going to work together long-term, some of the concerns that have been communicated was whether or not that money's going to go into those, closer to those systems in the more urban areas, and in the more rural areas of those areas that pay for SMART is going to lose something. And that's been communicated. I've talked to Jeff about those concerns, about making sure that we maintain the service because it's done so much. When I'm down at SEMCOG, I do make the point of communicating how important this program is, and that how, as a contributor, as we pay for SMART taxes, that we will, this is a service that's good for our residents. So I just want to kind of say that this issue is being watched, and in the Southeast Michigan is being reminded of not forgetting us, in the more rural areas.
What is that, the effect of the regional transportation is Hall Road or 23-mile road? Isn't there a geographic line?
I'm not sure if they've set a geographic line or not. I know it is, it's certainly, the RTA is certainly more focused on the urban areas. Having said that, as Councilor Yark mentioned, we're doing our best to remind the decision makers, both at SMART and at state government, of the importance of what we're doing here and the number of people we're moving. We have a reasonable voice in the system given the number of riders we're taking. There's many communities that are doing a few thousand riders total a year, and when we talk about riders in the 20,000+ number, that gives us some ability to be heard down in Detroit and in Lansing both.
Is John Hertel still in charge of?
Yes, John is the executive director, general manager of SMART.
So he's fully aware of
He
your
knows,
service.
yes. We send him regular reports. Actually, fortunately, him being in our community, we send them right to his home.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Anything else on this? It's a great service for our community. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Again, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank your staff. Item number 6 is consideration of special event request, Shakespeare in the Park.
Council is scheduled to consider approving a request received from Kelly Osterman, Executive Director of the AUD Regional Youth Initiative, to conduct Shakespeare in the Park in the gazebo at Beebe Street Park. This event will be June 13th and 14th from 7 to 9 p.m. and June 15th from 2 to 4 p.m. They have done this a couple times in the past. I think they took a year off last year, but are bringing it back. And Kelly is here tonight to answer any questions you may have.
Kelly, why don't you tell us what you're doing?
Well, this is actually the 4th year. Last year, we tried to do Shakespeare in the park in the high school auditorium because it is usually so hot and the weather doesn't always cooperate. But it was really missed in the park. And so this is just an opportunity. Local high school students gather and they put on authentic Shakespeare. This year, it always has a kind of a theme or like a way that they do it. And this year is 1920s, Much Ado About Nothing. And it's just a great time where high school students come from all over. We've got students represented from 5 local school districts, East China, New Haven, St. Clair, Memphis, and Richmond, and some homeschool students also. So it's just a cool time for them to come and produce authentic Shakespeare in the park.
Where do you do this in the gazebo or the?
Yeah. Yep, it's at the gazebo area, and this year we have a backdrop that will be set up and torn down every night, and it's under the out in the atmosphere, and people are welcome to just stop by and view it. It will be a free will donation at the event, but there is no charge, so people who are riding their bikes can just stop and watch a little bit of high school students performing Shakespeare.
Very good. Any questions? Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the special event application for the 2013 Shakespeare in the Park from June 13th to June 14th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and June 15th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just want to point out, I know this has been approved before in the past. My son Kurt is playing the major male role in this play, so if council wants me to, I can abstain from voting.
It won't be necessary. There's no reason for it, Michael. I'm glad
Okay.
you brought it
Just
up.
want a full disclosure.
Yeah, yep. Glad you brought it up, but there is no advantage to that. The poor kid has to learn all those lines. Do whatever you can to help him.
Yes, I've been trying.
Publicly or not. Okay. Any other discussion?
And I guess this means we're all going to go see Mike's.
Please do.
Well, it sounds like a neat thing to do again, Kelly. Glad you're doing it. Keep up the good work over there at the Odd. Anything else? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passed. I hope you got good weather. Okay. The final item we have for consideration is establishing a quarterly workshop meeting date. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider establishing its July quarterly workshop meeting date.
Did you come up with a date for us, Mr. City Manager?
I did not.
Thanks. I'm looking for my calendar.
In fact, I forgot my calendar.
Yeah, here, I just found mine. Has anybody taken a look at, I haven't even taken the time to look at the July.
We have 3 open Mondays.
Do we?
Yep,
Yeah, that's great.
it appears.
I apologize. Last time I had emailed out, and I did not do that this time. That worked well. My apologies.
We'll let it go this time, just don't let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because this can be miserable.
So the 8th or the 22nd, I'm unable to do the 29th.
Okay. 22nd, how's that looking for everybody?
I can't do the 22nd.
Okay.
I'm available the 8th.
How about the 29th?
I can't do that.
She
Oh,
can
I'm
do
sorry,
that.
you just said you can't make
She
it.
could do the 8th or the 22nd. Jeff can't do the 22nd.
Okay.
Can we do the 8th?
Thursday?
Actually, with Jeff gone tonight, do you want to postpone on this and have me do the email out?
You know, that wouldn't be a bad
Yeah,
idea.
you know,
That's a good idea.
until you brought that up, I forgot that we had done it that way the first time last time. With Jeff gone tonight, we may schedule a whole thing and him, and he wouldn't be able to make it either. So
Yeah.
why don't we do the email? I'll send out the calendar page. People can mark it up, send it back, and we'll put it on the second meeting in June. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay. No motion is needed there. We move on to city manager's comments, sir.
Council may have been getting some comments from the public on sewer trench that seems to be settling on Division Road. We are taking steps to correct that. Peak will be in town, I think, this week, making repairs to the trail, and they'll have their small mill and smaller paver in. And so actually, that's the type of equipment that is needed for that repair. And the original contractor on the project has agreed to pay for it and have the other company do the work. I did go through a local subcontractor from Detroit Edison that is here in town to try and come up with some contact information for DTE. They've given me that, and we've been playing phone tag, but kind of working on the issues of both the pole on South Main and the poles sitting around the community.
John, just for the record, there is a light on that pole.
Yep, I was given that advice too from,
Okay.
yep,
Because that way it makes it
yes,
DTEs.
That's it, sir?
that's it.
Very good. Moving on to council's comments. Dennis?
Just want to congratulate the sporting teams in town here. The girls softball just won the district championships tonight.
Oh, good.
And so we were at before getting here. The baseball team won their district championship. And then wrestling sent 13 boys down to Virginia Beach, where they took 9th in the nation out of 89 teams from across the nation. So, down at a dual meet down there. So.
Very good.
So a lot of good things happening, and I think they'll be in Bloomfield Hills, Andover High School next Saturday, the girls and the boys. And what the athletic director told me tonight. So,
Okay.
so that's on, and I'm sure they'll all need the support.
Yeah, very good.
And I just want to congratulate everybody's efforts on the budget. It was a pleasure working with everybody, as usual. And it makes it very enjoyable to work with everybody. So.
Yeah.
Just want to say, appreciate the VFW for regarding their work on the Memorial Day Parade. It's always a respectful event. Try to make sure we remember what day's about. It's not just a day off work. And it's respecting those that gave that we have this freedom. So we appreciate that. Very respectful event today.
Jamie.
I agree with both of them, and that's all.
Michael?
I concur as well.
Jimmy?
Likewise.
Likewise. Very good. The only thing I would have to add to that would be this weekend, Little League is having a large tournament. It's Blue Double Tournament. I was contacted today. I think there will be a conversation at tomorrow night's meeting about the use of the Good Old Days field. They have so many teams. They would like to do an 8 and under. They'd like to throw a diamond together on the Good Old Days field there. So that will be coming nice. I told them they need to come and talk to Parks and Rec. We have a policy on that. So just so you're aware of it. And then the girls' fast pitch Can-Am tournament, it could be its 25th year. They're not quite sure, and I can't remember. But that is also going on this weekend. So we'll have a ton of people in the community. Which, John, I see your pencil working.
Yeah.
You know, our police department always does a fine job of driving around, just make sure everybody's okay and show the presence that they're there. And the one thing that we always hear with the girls' softball program is how secure they feel when they come and play. And there can be up to 3,000 people over there at one time. So very nice event. And I'm sure the Little League, I've heard nothing but good about that Blue Devil tournament also.
Does anyone know, is this Saturday, Sunday, is it also Friday?
Can-Am is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not sure what.
Little League is Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday,
As well.
Saturday, Sunday also for the
Okay.
league. Yeah. So good things happening this weekend. It's all free. It's great entertainment. And go support the kids. Support those organizations. They both have great hot dogs and hamburgers for sale while that's going on. I love my hot dogs. Going to the calendar. Today being June 3rd already. Rec board meeting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here at City Hall. Last day of school is Friday. So the students will be out and about the rest of the summer. Be careful when you're driving around the community. This Saturday at 8 a.m., it's the Habitat Ride and helmet giveaway. I believe they have 100 helmets that they're going to be giving away. That is going to be started, I believe, at the Trailhead Park.
Correct. That's
Okay,
on our
they are going
Trailhead
to
Park.
meet there first.
Yep.
Okay, and then you go as far as you want to go. There's no demand that you go to Armada and back, but I believe that's the ride, Armada and back. There is a donation requested for the Habitat Brush with Kindness program, and all that money will stay here in the city of Richmond during this summer for the program that they have. The 11th is Cable Commission. Are they meeting on the 11th? Okay. And then the Planning Commission, are they meeting? They are also meeting on the 13th. Flag Day is the 14th. That's a week from this Friday. Please show the symbol. Show that you care and fly the flag on the 14th. Fly the flag all the time, but especially on the 14th. Father's Day, of course, will be on the 16th. And 2 weeks from tonight will be the City Council meeting, regularly scheduled at 7 o'clock. I don't know that we have anything else that we need to talk about here. I don't think so. Okay, we'll move on. Are there any other business? It's not showing on the agenda. There should be a thing here that says, is there any other business of the City Council? Being not, motion to adjourn would be in order.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Support.
What's been made and supported, there's no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Thanks for being with us tonight.